We'll just very quickly move his rugs off so you can have a look at his overall.
I don't like undressing in front of people.
Right, Blueberry has had some time off since the Olympics, so he's just starting to come back into work now. Now, one of the issues that we come across very often with dressage horses, purely just because of their breeding and their type, is that they tend to be good doers. So they're very good at keeping their body condition on. But also what we need to bear in mind is that these horses as well are in hard work. So particularly when we're operating at Grand Prix Olympic level, you know, these horses are working very, very hard, and so therefore as well have a much higher and elevated requirement for things like quality protein and also the vitamins and minerals and the antioxidants, so the things that we spoke about earlier in the presentation. Now you can see at the moment Valegro looks fantastic, body condition wise, bearing in mind he's had some time off, actually looks superb. So you know, at the moment from a feeding point of view, the aim is going to be actually sort of maintaining him where he is now, but as well making sure that he is having enough energy for the work that he's doing, and Charlotte as well has to be happy with how she feels he's going, and whether she needs more fuel in the tank and things like that. So all of these things we have to take into consideration. I'm going to ask you to put his rugs back on so that he doesn't get cold. Now, one of the issues that we have when we're feeding horses like this, if they have a tendency to be good doers, is that if we were to feed them the full recommended amount of a performance feed, then potentially we start to run into problems with them actually starting to put on too much weight. And if they start putting on too much weight, getting too heavy, then the outcome of that actually is a decline then in their energy level. So if they're carrying extra weight, they're not going to feel as energetic, they're going to feel more lethargic. The feed that we actually use with Valegro or Blueberry, we're using a combination of the feed balancer, the performance feed balancer, the Stam 30, and also our performance feed Enduro 100. Now, because we can't feed the full recommended amount of the Enduro 100, because potentially he's going to start putting on a little bit too much condition, what we do is we base his ration around the Stam 30. So we use the Stam 30, the feed balancer, to form the basis to take care of the vitamins, the minerals, and the quality protein and the antioxidants. So that all of the really important things that he needs to maintain normal muscle function, to recover properly in between training periods, and the protein to help maintain his top line and his muscle definition are taken care of. What we then do is we use the Enduro 100 as our energy source, but we don't have to rely on feeding the minimum level of the Enduro 100 to meet that vitamin and mineral requirement because we have the Stam 30. So if we were, for example, just to feed the Enduro 100, for a horse of this size and this body weight, we would be looking at feeding probably between 3 to 3.5 kilos of the Enduro, and that would be too much that it may exaggerate his body condition. I haven't got anything on there. So what we do, because we have the Stam 30 in there, we can wean in smaller amounts of the Enduro 100, but have the peace of mind that he has a balanced ration. So the Enduro 100 becomes purely the energy supplement rather than the energy supplement and the reliance for the vitamins, the minerals, and the quality protein. And how much Enduro 100 we add in will be very much driven, one, obviously by the maintenance of his body condition, secondly, by the feedback from Charlotte, so how Charlotte feels that he's going, and also as well from Fee. So Fee, where's she gone? Fee, bye. So Fee and I will work quite closely together so that we have the feedback so that we can always be keeping an eye on what we do with the rations. So this is Blueberry, who is on the Stand 30 Performance Balancer at the full feeding rate of £2 a day, and then starting to have the Enduro 100 introduced in now as he starts coming back into full work. And I think that if we give Valegro Olympic star a round of applause.